Fellow auto detailers, welcome to the show that features interviews with today's most successful auto detailers. This is the Auto Detailing Podcast. Here's your host, Jimbo Balaam.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 414 of the Auto Detailing Podcast. I'm actually in the mobile recording studio on my way to another job this morning. At least it's morning at the time of this recording. Anyway, I wanted to tell you, man, it's just like every time I do it, I feel like it's one of the most important things that you can do to just help put some perspective onto your own business. And so I thought I wanted to share it. I talked about it, or not exactly, but something similar, 2 years ago when I got my windows tinted. But it keeps happening. And I think the more vigilant we are of it and the more aware of it we are, or the more often we do it actually, the more it'll actually help us in our business. And it could be one of the most beneficial things you could do in your business or for your business, really. Another one of the beneficial things you could do for your business is join the Detailer Inner Circle. You can find out more information at detailerinnercircle.com. We revamped the website, a ton more info on there. But if you're looking to really push hard and make 2020 your year, you really need to be a part of the Detailer Inner Circle. Text message marketing, you're starting to hear it all over the place from other high influencers, Gary Vee, Dave Meltzer, this other guy that I follow. Everyone, Ed Milet, everyone has their own texting platform now, a number that they want you to text in, because text message marketing really is the next wave of email. And we have a full-blown text messaging marketing platform set up for you to make it super easy to blast texts out to your clients, get more jobs, get more work, all that. Detailerinnercircle.com will get you more information. But back to the point, and my point is to hire, or to, maybe not hire is not the right word, but have, hire, I guess, more service-based businesses. So whether that is a window tinter, a PDR guy, a HVAC guy, a car mechanic, whatever, the industry that it's in isn't as important as their systems. And that's really what I want to get at, is how do they handle you as a client, right? And so, for example, maybe an HVAC guy, right, comes to your house, your heater's broken or your furnace is broken. How does he handle everything from the phone call, or how does the company, right, handle everything from the initial phone call to setting up the appointment, to the reminder of the appointment, to are they prompt when they show up on time for the appointment that they set? Do they have you sign something agreeing to the service? Do they quote you? How do they do it? And I'll just speak from my own experience. When I first started detailing, a lot of it was, I'm in a parking lot, someone rolls up, hey, how much for a detail? Let me go check it out. You look at it, you come up with this number in your head based upon, what the car looks like, how much money you actually need at that time, how long it's going to take, all the factors, and then you just spew off this number off the top of your head, and then immediately what happens is the customer tries to negotiate with you. Now, this is a huge problem of this, negotiating, or people undercutting, and you see it all day long on all these Facebook groups for detailing, and it makes you wonder why. And my opinion is that maybe you're not coming off across as the most professional person. If you can't command that dollar amount, you can't command a higher price, maybe there's a reason. Maybe you don't show up in a nice uniform. Whether it's branded or not, just make it nice. You don't necessarily have to have your logo on the shirt, though it'd be nice. It's not necessarily, you don't necessarily have to have that as long as you look presentable. Does your rig look presentable if you're going mobile? Does your shop look presentable when people roll in? Do you look like a professional, or does it look like a storage unit? How do you answer the phone, or how does your receptionist answer the phone? What does your website look like? What does your social look like? What does your follow-up look like? And that's why I had this episode sponsored by the Detailer Inner Circle. We're all about customer follow-up and follow-through. We believe strongly that it's easier to sell to a customer that you've already sold to versus selling to a brand new customer in the first place. You will get more money out of a person that you already sold to than a brand new person. However, when I have hired either a window tint guy in the past or an HVAC guy or a mechanic or whatever, I pay attention to their systems and how they treat me as a customer, and then I take that as feedback and then incorporate, or I pay attention to it rather, and then I take that and incorporate things that I didn't like or I really liked how I was handled and incorporate into my own business. Again, that's why I love working with House Call Pro or any CRM, because when you can give a client an accurate estimate, and so here, your chances of getting a higher dollar amount and actually closing the job are much, much higher. So let me give you two different scenarios and examples. The first example is something that I'm super guilty of and I've gotten 100 times better because I've seen the benefit of it. But in the past, this is how I used to do it. Someone would either call, they'd come up to me when I'm at a neighbor's house, hey, how much for a detail, right? 10 years in, you just want to punch everyone in the face that says that, right? And then, or mine's next, or whatever. And so, but say that, how much for a detail? You walk over, it's a Tesla, because I happen to be driving by a Tesla right now. You look at it, it's not in super bad shape, but it needs a little bit of work. It's going to take you a few hours, and you spew off a number of $200, right? And they go, oh man, that's kind of steep, $200, car wash down the street, and it's all verbal. Everything is verbal. There's nothing in writing. It's just a verbal conversation, right? And you didn't ask any questions. You just kind of spewed off, it's going to be a $200 detail. The customer negotiates. Maybe you settle on $175 and you land the job. Great, right? You think, phenomenal. I got the job. That was easy. My customer acquisition cost is nothing because I was already on another job. They just happened to come up to me. What a win, right? And then you forget to get their information. You forget to, you just say, you write it in your Google Calendar and, all right, I'll be here Thursday at 9, right? Great. Maybe you do a great job. Maybe you don't. Whatever, right? The car's done, locked in, you did it. Let's say the customer's ecstatic and super happy, right? Chances are you never hear from them again unless you live in that community or you service that community often. That's one, and if you do it like that, don't feel bad. It's how I did it for so many freaking years. Because there was no platforms that were smooth and easy to use. Now, contrast that with, hey, how much for a detail? Walk over, hey, my name's Jimbo, can we go look at your car right now, right? Oh yeah, sure, it's right, let me pull it out of the driveway, whatever. You look at it, hey, by the way, and then you start saying, hey, by the way, what's your name? What's your number? I'm just going to type in all your information into my system. That way I can get you a really clean-cut estimate emailed or text over to you. That way you can go over it. If you need to go over it with your wife or whatever, you can do that. But all the things that I'm going to do to the car are going to be laid out, right? And so you get all his information, his address, his email, his cell phone, and that makes it a really easy way to get all that information. Hey, would it be okay if I emailed you over this quote? So it's everything that I'm going to do to the car is simple and easy to lay out, and that way if you have any questions about anything, you know what you're looking at. Who's not going to give you their email, right? Boom, you just got their email, which is super important. You got their number, which is super important because you're going to text them later, right? And so you're on your phone through an app, whether that's even QuickBooks or House Call Pro or Square, whatever your CRM, Detailer Inner Circle, whatever your CRM of choice or wherever you store your customers' information, it's just important that you get their information. That's the most important part. Whether they ever buy your service or not, you want their information. And so they go, yeah, no problem. You start taking a couple pictures of the car, maybe problem areas, because now you're documenting everything so you don't get accused of anything later. Super important. Then you lay out, when's the last time your car's been detailed? What's really important to you? Is it the interior, the exterior, blah, blah, blah. You start asking a ton of questions, which is another important part that I used to never do. You got to ask a ton of questions so that you're hitting their needs, not your needs. And then after that, you kind of dial in everything in your app or your phone or whatever that's all their needs. You come up with a quote, and then you could either tell them what the dollar amount is there, or you just tell them you're going to email them. Usually what I'll do is I'll be like, and it's going to be more because you're showing that you're a true professional. You're not just coming up with a price off the top of your head, depending upon all these factors. You are coming to a price based on line items and detail items that you're going to service them with, right? So you come up with a number. All right, it's going to be $275 or $300 for this detail. So $100 more than maybe you would have done before, right? And they go, oh, wow, okay. I'm telling you, because I actually do this for a living, when you do it like that, the chance of a customer negotiating with you is almost none. Almost none. Now, you may not get the job, which happens more often than them not negotiating, but you're not getting worn down constantly by people trying to beat you up on your price. It's just, this is my price, it is what it is, and there is no negotiation because you look way more professional. Now, here's the important part too. Once you send that estimate, you have their cell phone number, their address, and their email address. So if they don't like your estimate, one, you could always go back to them and say, okay, well, maybe we could take a few things off, and kind of, you can negotiate like that. But you have all their information. Now, they're not yet a customer, but with their information, you can hit them up at holiday time. You could follow up with them on the estimate. You can try to sell them a different service. There's so many things that you can do to capitalize on that customer. If they become a customer and go, yeah, no problem, let's do it, let's lock it in, when can you do it? Quote accepted or estimate accepted. Boom, you just made an extra $100 that you wouldn't have been, because your presentation and you being more professional to the client is at a higher level than someone that's just kind of rattling it off the top of their head, and that is worth money. And so my experience has really been that if you are showing that you're more professional, if you're acting more professional, you will be able to command a higher dollar amount. And so my thought is that these people or these guys that complain that they can't get top dollar in their local neighborhood, it's not because they're not skilled detailers. They're probably overly skilled. It's because a lot of times it falls into the business side of things, and maybe you're not coming off as professional as you need to be able to be commanding that higher ticket item. And so my point of all of this, and as I roll up to my appointment with Perfect Timing, my point to all of this is maybe hire another service-based person, and pay attention, a service that you need, right? Maybe it's window tint, maybe it's PDR, whatever. Maybe it's cleaner bra, maybe it's just your furnace is broken. I don't know, maybe you're a mechanic. And pay attention to what their systems and services are, and then do this multiple times, throughout your day-to-day, whatever you need done, and pay attention and kind of cherry pick what you like as the customer, what you like from those service-based businesses. Because now, for me, when I'm a customer, say I'm getting my windows tinted, and I don't sign anything about how much, the service is costing before the service is done, and I'm kind of like left out in left field about what exactly I'm getting done and how much it's costing, that makes me feel really uncomfortable. Or how long it's going to take. That's another thing. If it's going to take 3 hours, tell me it's going to take 3 hours. Don't have it take 4 hours. That's super annoying, right? And so I kind of take that feedback, and I'm like, okay, cool. I need to tell my customers that, I need to have them sign something up front of, this is exactly how much it costs, this is how long it's going to take, yada, yada, yada. And the customer actually appreciates that. Talked about that in other episodes. When you don't tell a customer how long it's going to take, they think it's going to take 3 days. And when you're done in 3 hours, they think you didn't do something right. So if you're upfront with them of, it's going to take 3 hours, it's going to be $300, here's a list of services that I'm going to do, here's a photo documentation of any scratches or dings that are on your car first, and here, please sign that you approve of all of this before we even get started on your car. That is super duper professional. Then you finish in 3 hours, you have them sign again that they approve the work, Everything is documented. You have pictures. It's all nice and buttoned up. You have all their information. That is how you command higher money for your detailing business. So as we look forward to 2020, that is my encouragement to you guys today. Hire someone. Hire a service-based person and check out their systems and see what you like and what you don't like and cherry pick what you like. And if you emulate and model stuff that they do that you don't like, get rid of that in your business and change it. And I promise you, you will command more money, make more dollars, and have a much more profitable 2020.